Hi, friends. Hey. Hi. How are you all doing today? Don't you love that verse? I wanted to have that be your food for thought as we start today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all being here so much. Today actually in the last couple of days, I had something on my mind for you, and I really wanted to work on this because it's near and dear to my heart because of the times that we're living in. I don't know about you, but there's just so much negativity in the world. And, with these signs I'm going to share with you today on toxic work environments, I don't want it to be doom and gloom. And that's, first of all, why I shared this verse, because I believe with every negative thing, we can flip that for positive. So listen up today and take notes, because I am going to be 50 years old this year. And I've learned a lot, and I've had a lot of jobs, and I believe I was meant to go through a lot of jobs. That way I can help one more person navigate whatever you're going through. So I'm going to share with you what has been in my heart. And the first sign that you know you're in a toxic work environment is that there's constant gossip and drama. Yeah. And first of all, I'm going to encourage you not to be part of that. And the reason why I say that is because that can bite you. Now, just because someone's coming to you and they're gossiping about someone else, what do you think is going to happen? As soon as you tick that person off, they're going to go and they're going to gossip about you to someone else. So I'm going to encourage you. Now, if you just started a new job, this is perfect. I'm going to ask you to go into that new job and keep your private life to yourself. Keep the conversations light. You can share pieces. I'm not asking you to be a robot. Be a real person, but don't overshare, because really that can end up hurting you. I know I did that in the past, and it really cost me, and I don't want that to happen to you. So if you're starting from scratch, keep your private life to yourself. So that's my tip number one, is to not, get into the drama. That's a huge red flag that you're in a toxic place. Number two, this one is really, really tough, and that is a poor or fear-based leadership. And how you're going to know that someone is a poor leader is the boss seems, first of all, they're not confident, okay? They're going to come in there and they're going to bark orders and they micromanage and they do all the things. And nowadays I can just see it right off the bat that this is just bad leadership. And I've had lots. There was one boss that I had back in the day. It was when I worked in a pharmacy. And this boss came in. I had already been working in this pharmacy for about a year at that point. And then we get a new manager who came in. And she just came in there just as sour as could be. I remember there was a time where, because I was always laughing and I was always having a good time, this woman did not look at life the same way I did. And I remember she pulled me into the office, and this is a true story. I'm not even kidding you. She said, "Kelly, you laugh way too much." And you know what? I laughed in her face when she said that. I said, "So I'm getting written up and I'm getting talked to about laughing at work?" Because I really couldn't believe that. I really couldn't believe that a boss was pulling me into her office for laughing. But that is a true story. And, I realized in that moment that, she's unhappy. What I should have done for her is I should have prayed for her, first of all. But I didn't. But recognize it for what it is, and don't go down to their level. I could have snapped back. I could have said all these things, but I just remember walking away. And at that point in time, I remember just looking for another job. You can do that. You could either look for another job or just respect your boss, no matter what. I didn't agree with her. I didn't like her. There's a lot of bosses I didn't like. But we have to respect our boss because they sign our paychecks. So I don't want you to ruin your character and bite back. Yeah, stand up for yourself. If they're being, belligerent and disrespectful, that's a whole different story. But something silly like this, just handle it lightly. I'm trying to remember how I handled it, but I remember laughing back at her, and that probably wasn't the right way to handle it. But, just recognize it. But also at the same time, and I wrote this down too, is like, if you have someone like that, don't try too hard to earn their respect. I don't want you to butt kiss. I hate to say it like that, but I'm going to ask you not to do that. Don't offer to work overtime. Don't offer to help, because this person, they have their own issues. And you don't want to set yourself up for burnout and all that just by trying to earn their respect, because someone like that, forget it. I would just be respectful, do the thing you have to do, and just get out of there. And a third tip here that I have for you, that that you're in a toxic work environment, is feelings of chronic stress and dread. Now, for me, how that looked back in the day was huge weight gain. I gained so much weight. I was so stressed out. I would come home. My husband can attest to this. I worked at a place Monday through Friday. I came home and I talked about work, and I talked about work on the weekend, and I was just constantly talking about how much I hated it. And that's not fun, not for the people in your life. So if you're in that state right now where you're feeling tired all the time, you're losing weight or you're gaining a lot of weight, and it's just everything seems like it's falling apart. Well, first of all, of course, I'm going to tell you, if you've been a part of my community any length of time, I'm going to tell you to pray about that first and foremost, and for God's direction. But, just, talk to your doctor. Maybe for a season you have to be on blood pressure medicine. I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm no doctor, and I don't like to be put on any medication, but you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in those moments, because chronic stress that goes on for a long time can do a lot of damage to you. So, just try to get yourself healthy and to not bring that so much into your home. And, have fun outside of work too, if you're in that state of chronic stress, because if you're exercising, you're having fun with your friends, you're going to first of all forget about your problems for a little bit, and then you're working on getting healthy too. So that's my encouragement, if you are in that feeling of chronic stress and dread. Number 4 that I have for you is no recognition or appreciation. Oh man, have I experienced that too. You're just constantly being criticized for this. You don't do this right, or you don't do that, and there's no wins, and you just feel like, man, I'm working all the time, putting this effort in, and I'm getting no appreciation. I know that, friend. I know that feeling. I've been there many times. But if you're there and you feel like there's no wins or any level up for you, just try to create it for yourself. Just be that positive person, and just get together with your coworkers and just try to make light of things. Maybe you guys can have something fun to look forward to on Fridays. Maybe bring in some donuts or something a day just to kind of lighten the air. I mean, that's some ways that I had navigated through, tough times. I'm not saying it's going to change the situation, but it's just going to help lighten the environment. Whatever you can do while you're in there. I understand that you can't just pick up and just leave a job. We have bills to pay. We have insurances that we carry for our families. So I understand. That's why I'm trying to help you navigate when you're in these situations. Don't go down to their level. I can't stress that enough in this video, is to not lose your character, not lose your motivation. Just try to stick with, why you're here. You're here for a paycheck. You're here for the insurance. And then just turn that off when you leave. So, you can give yourself your own wins. Treat yourself. Go for that pedicure. Go for that massage. Maybe that's your way of giving yourself your own appreciation, because, the world's not going to always give it to you. So that's what I had for number 4. And number 5, man, this is a huge one. So listen up if you are looking for a new job, is high turnover and low trust. So if you're applying for a position, what's really cool about the age and time that we live in is that each job, I think on Indeed, it has this. It has the little star after the company, and it gives you reviews. And there's reviews in there from past employees. and it gives you an insight if this is a good place to work or not. So I would read those reviews and I'd be very mindful before taking on a new job. You know, if there's high turnover, where do you think that's going to leave you? You're going to want to leave too. So don't look at that very, too lightly. I did that, really, and I have paid the price. And I can talk about this company now because they're shut down. When I worked for Rite Aid, the worst job. I could see why they shut down, and it was really funny to me because when I was working at Rite Aid, I had it come to me like, this company is going to shut down. I mean, I had the prediction that it was going to shut down. It wasn't going to last, and I'm telling you, after I had that prediction, they shut down. Not just my store, nationwide. So just be mindful before you get into a job. If there's high turnover, the employees look unhappy, I would think twice before taking that job. Because, if new staff is always being hired on, that's not a good sign. But here's another tip I just thought of. So let's say you're going to go apply for, I'll say a restaurant, okay, for an example. Go eat at that restaurant, and I want you to do something. So when you're eating that restaurant, I want you to pay close attention, okay? How are the employees? How are they treating you? How is the environment? Is it clean there? Just do your homework. And just pay attention to how people are treating others. And that'll help you make better decisions going forward. So, and I wrote down here, and I want to encourage you because I didn't want you to I didn't want to leave this out. If any of this sounds familiar, don't give in to their unprofessionalism. Don't give in to them. Don't let them determine who you are. Stay positive. Look for something else. And just do one good thing you can, well, many, is to gain as much knowledge as you can. Because every little thing that you learn at a job, every little thing you can add to that resume, I don't care if it's cleaning the bathroom, anything you can do to add to your resume and add to knowledge is going to help you in the future. So while you're there and you're miserable, you're at this job and you really hate it, it sucks, okay? I'm going to just encourage you to just use them for all the experience that you can gain. Because don't think of where you're at as where you're going to stay. Think of it as just a chapter or season in your life. Just take everything you can. Learn as much as possible. Take all the notes. Take the notes with you. And when you go on to that next job, you'll be ready and you'll be so much more successful. I can't tell you how many times I've learned at other jobs that have nothing to do with where I'm at now. I was able to just bring that with me, and it really has helped. And it gives you more confidence. So remember, where's my little verse here? Psalm 46:5 says, God is within her. She will not fail. So remember that verse. As long as you have God on your side, you will not fail. So I hope that this video has encouraged you. Please share your stories below. I would like to know, what kind of toxic environments have you encountered in your life? I know this video is just scratching the surface. If you want me to dive deeper, let me know. I'll dive deeper, because I have so much more I could share in this video. But for sake of time, I just wanted to kind of help you through it if you're going in, if you're dealing with it right now. So, friends, remember, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So, let this be your encouragement, friends. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again in the next one. And just remember, above all else, that God loves you. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.